I think this is the time to start the panel discussion. We had enough questions, and I invite our chairperson for this session, Dr. Kamlesh Mishra, who is the Vice Chancellor of Oro University and an eminent educationist, to come on the stage and to chair the session. I invite other speakers, Rashmi Bansal and Rishi Kohli, to please come on the stage. The format will be, we'll not have open questions because we have had many questions on the chits which we were distributing through volunteers. On the basis of them and otherwise, we will start the discussion from the respective speakers, and then probably we'll interact, and at the end of it, I'll request the chairperson to give a concluding remark or a concluding short speech about the conclusion of this session. We will touch only few topics which are relevant or which have been come up or which have come from the audience. We'll start in a minute from now. You have mic, sir? No, you have mics, please. We need 3 more mics. Okay, Prachi is having mic, so let us start from Prachi. No problem, I think. Because there was a question right now. That girl wrote that I'm finding it difficult to ask on the mic, so I'm writing it. Okay. Now, what was the question? The question was, Prachi, that I want to marry to a person whom I love, but my parents don't agree to that. So it's a typical story of love marriage versus arranged marriage, which is, I think, very common in the mind of many. Okay, so it's a quite interesting topic.
Looks like everybody wants to marry somebody that their parents don't want them to marry.
Everybody wants to marry, but through which mode they should go? Love marriage or arranged followed by love, or love followed by arranged? I don't know. So what is your take on that?
See, you are here because of your parents. But at the same time, you have to live with your husband, right? What do parents have to do in that? You have to make your own choice. Nobody wants to hurt their parents' emotions or their family's emotions. So if they love you, I'm sure they will love the person you love as well, right? They love you unconditionally. And I think the best thing to do is ask them, why do they not want you to get married to this person? Maybe there's a reason that you don't see, but they see. Maybe there's something that they are not being able to tell you openly or directly. There's something they know about the person which you don't. So ask them, and then try to convince them, make them like him as well. At the end of it, it's your life. You should marry who you want to.
Yeah. So basically keep trying, convincing your parents, and of course keep trying with your lover also. Right? So friends, that was the answer you were looking for? That was the answer you were looking for?
This is my answer because my parents are sitting in the front row.
Right. So what is your opinion?
Ask me later.
Yes, yes. So what is your opinion? That it should be a love marriage or it should be arranged marriage? Raise your hands for the favor of love marriage. No marriage. People are saying no marriage.
No marriage.
That's a very, very good answer, I think. I think we'll proceed to the next question. Rashmi, this is for you. There is something called progressive and value-based society that puts excellence and integrity over materialistic gains. Okay, these are 2 types of societies, whether you want a progressive or you want a more materialistic. Where we are heading and what should be the ultimate aim? I know there might not be a very clear answer for this, but still, what is your take? Progressive we mean by, in the all social and all holistic way.
I think both things go hand in hand. As I said during my talk, entrepreneurship is really about creating your own destiny. Along with that, also thinking about what you can give back to society. So I think both things go hand in hand. We should not be excessively materialistic. As I said, you shouldn't have your only goal how to become more rich, how to own more property, how to enjoy your life more. You should have a balanced life. You should definitely enjoy your life. You should create wealth. You should also share that wealth with others. Every entrepreneur, if he employs 10 people in this country, if you become a job creator, That's a way of sharing wealth when you give employment to other people. And at every stage of life, even as a student, you can give back to society. You don't have to wait till you have a lot of money. So today, if today you give 3 hours of your time every week to teach a child who is in a municipal school, that is also giving back to society. It's not just giving back in terms of money. So don't wait to become very rich and have a lot of wealth and then give back. You can start giving today.
Right. So I think what is important is that to understand what is needed in the society and to give back in whatever small way you can, probably. Sir, this is a question from the education related, and this question came. We see a mad rush for various medical engineering, conventional streams. But now we all know, with the opening of the economy and so many other things, a lot of new streams, lot of new subjects and lot of new vocations are coming up. Okay, but still I believe, and the person who asked this question also believe, that parents or the teachers or the society is unable to come out of this mad rush. So what do you think, like where the fault lies? Yes.
I think the most important thing, and what we see today, is that parents need more counseling than the students need these days.
No parents are here. So message, please pass on the message.
I have a big rush of parents who want counseling. There is this always conflict that will happen between these two generations. I think the older generation feels that they are right, and the younger generation feels they are right. I feel that the younger generation knows what it is doing. The older generation is trying to understand what they are doing. And in that, somewhere this conflict arises. I think there is a wide open opportunities for students today that exist than what existed before in my time. So they must explore. Somebody asked a question about being a dancer. Go ahead and become a good dancer. You'll do very well in life. So if we don't allow the kids to explore, if they're going to do what their parents are going to do or want it, I don't think they're going to make it in life. They should do what they want to do.
Correct. So I think sir has given a clean chit to the younger generation, and the onus has been given to the older generation. But I think both go hand in hand, and with the time it might be a transition phase, and with the time I think the situation might be little better. Rishi, this question is for you. If you are rich, anybody, I mean if you are rich, some people consider that you may not be good, you may be bad if you are very rich. People think कि कैसे पैसा कमाया होगा, ऐसा वैसा and all that. How much of it is true?
I don't think it's that true. I mean, obviously there will be some examples of all sorts of people in any field actually. But there are, you'll find more examples of people who have actually done it the clean way. And in my talk, I talked about negativity. I think the moment such a question comes up, the first thing I think is that it's coming from some sort of negativity. Cut the negativity out, be positive and move ahead. Forget about all this. It doesn't matter. You do it the right way, you will succeed. That's what I would say.
Correct. So I think the money making is not a bad thing, and probably in Surat we already know about it, but the mindset of few people need to be changed. Rashmi, this question is for you. Why do our students commit suicide? There are incidents, especially I'm talking of these crucial years of 12th, IIT entrance and all those period. May not be in bigger towns, but maybe in smaller towns or tier 2 cities and all that. This is a very known fact. So what is the reason for that? Where our society is faltering?
I think a lot of stigma is attached to failure, and people set a goal. When they can't reach that goal, then they think it's the end of the world, end of life. But it's not the case. Sometimes you aim for a particular thing, you don't get it, but some other option opens up for you, which is equally good. Maybe it's actually your destiny. So I talked about that in my book, Connect the Dots. I said, if you look back at your life, then all the events of your life make sense. Maybe you were desperate to get into IIT, but your real talent was in dance, or maybe you wanted to do CA, but you failed the exam, but it's not the end of the world. So I think failure is just, one event in your life. It's not something to be taken that if I have failed, I'm a permanent failure. You probably have some other talent or some other destiny lying ahead of you. So it's just the way that we look at failure. The parents and society also have to encourage this idea that failure is not end of the world. You have to give the children unconditional support and love at such a time, and the peer group also. So it's really just about looking at failure as a lesson in life and not as the end of life.
So friends, out of all youth, how many of you are having the fear of failure? Please raise your hands. Many, I think, and many are not having. I mean, they are lucky, and it's good that they are not having. Prachi, I want to ask you, in movies we always see that there are success followed by failure. Some movies run, some movies don't run because of many reasons. Okay, how to handle that? How to take in your stride the failures? How do you manage? How to manage those things? Because sometimes we really feel upset, and we think that probably this is the end of the game, but it is not actually. So how to tide over that period?
I think we have our biggest example and the best example we could ever get right here on stage with us today. What can be more inspiring than that? I think one should always remember it's very subjective, success and failure. For me, what is success could be failure to you. For me, earning good reviews for my film may be success, but it's failed at the box office. For the producer, the box office failure is a failure.
Correct.
But for me, good reviews is a success. So it is very subjective. What is success to you may not be success for another person. Always remember, do what you want, not under any kind of pressure. I think in today's time, everybody is under so much pressure. You know, lives are fast and you want the best. And everybody thinks that if that is what I want, I have to get it. They're not prepared to not be able to get it, so nobody has options ready. There's nothing like an ideal world, so just remember that do what you like, and whatever is coming your way, just take it in your stride, and remember that maybe something better is going to happen. We all want to be so book smart, but we forget that we have to tell our children, the teachers have to tell the kids something that is out of the books, and that is, you are not ought to only study textbook knowledge. These are the things that the teachers need to teach us as well. They have to tell us that don't fail, but success doesn't mean getting 90 out of 100 or 98 out of 100. You could get a distinction, or as per your capabilities, you could get whatever marks that you've studied for, and everything in its own way can be your success.
Correct. So basically, people say out of the box thinking, we would also put it out of the book thinking. It should not be related only to book. You have to learn many, many more things in the life. But I think again the problem comes with our education system, sir. So my question is that in your university, or for that matter in any educational institution, are our educational actually inculcating this trait that you should think out of the box, you should think out of the books, or they are still going in the same rat race that no, books 95%, 98% is the ultimate answer?
I think sometimes the expectation from an educational system in today's society is very different, and it is being driven by so many commercial considerations. I think what we need to understand is the purpose of education is very simple: to train the mind.
Correct.
To develop a sense of logic and rationality. Rishi also in his discussion, he mentioned that, that today's education is not relevant or is not practical. No education will ever be practical. The purpose of education is not to make it just practical, but to make mind that can make things practical. It is the ability to think, logic, rationalize that helps people do certain things.
Correct.
And
right.
We need to understand that's the role of an education system. Universities are not there to make businessmen. It is individuals who become businessmen. It is the way that we train them, or their mind, that they become good businessmen or they become good leaders. So I think our expectation from education system has to be brought in line. It cannot be thought always in that.
It should be more practical and aligned with the.
Yeah, you can have a student from IIM who is a failure.
Correct.
So a degree from IIT or IIM or even Harvard is not a license to life. I went to Harvard, I know what it is.
Very right. So I think what is more important is that you should find your own directions. But when the question of directions come, I find, or we all have observed, that the youth is lacking direction at some or other form. They are confused. Now, what is their confusion? We are not condemning the confusion, but they are. And probably at some stage, some of the youth and some of the institutions or homes, they don't find the right direction. Okay, what is the way out, Rashmi, for this? Giving the right direction or to the confused, maybe confused कि भाई ये girlfriend लेना है या ये girlfriend लेना है, maybe ये career लेना है या ये career लेना है, maybe whether to see this movie or that, but they need direction.
एक आत्मा की आवाज़ होती है, उसको हम
Correct.
inner voice बोलते हैं. So each one has to only introspect and find one's own life path. So question comes how to do this, because today there's lot of noise and lot of opinions of other people which are influencing us, because of which we are not able to hear our own inner voice. So I generally tell students two things. That one thing is that every day in the morning when you wake up 10 minutes early and you sit silently. You can call it as meditation or introspection or reflection, but you just sit silently and just observe yourself. So that is one thing. And second thing is that if you can keep a small diary or journal in which you just note down that what is the one thing that you really enjoyed to do today? What is the one thing, what was the best highlight of your day? And after 3 to 4 months, 6 months, you read your diary and you also observe yourself and the answers will start coming to you. So answer is within you. I cannot provide, none of us can provide what is the answer for you, what is the path for you. So you have to just learn to hear your own inner voice, या फिर जैसे हम उसको आत्मा की आवाज़ बोलते हैं, that is within you.
I think she's right that we should not look always for the answers. There might not be answers for many things, but these tips can probably help towards reaching that goal. These small tips that you should have a diary or you should have a meditation, you should introspect yourself. You want to say something? Okay. So introspect yourself, and these things probably can help. Prachi, another question which has come from audience is that rebellion amongst youth, विद्रोह की भावना youth में, चाहे any stage, whether it's with parents, whether it's on a larger scale for the country, because we see many young girls or boys who have घर से भाग गए हैं, बॉम्बे गए हैं फिल्म इंडस्ट्री में काम करने, because their parents were not allowing them, they wanted to do something, and probably हो सकता है उनमें से कोई actress बन भी जाता, you never know. Of course with time it is decreasing, but how to tackle that situation? Your parents were very helpful. I mean, we can say that few of us are lucky that our parents were helpful, but many of the parents are not. And youth has the youthful energy. They have to go, whatever comes to their mind, because youth नहीं करेगा तो कौन करेगा? So how to tackle that? Or how you have tackled? Probably you have not faced that, but how to tackle that? How do you advise the youth to tackle that?
I think that in today's time, there's so much, there's this rebellious nature. It's because of the generation gap. Children feel that my parents don't know what I'm talking about. We are high into technology, and you know, we are living this virtual life on our computers, on the internet, all the time. Whereas our parents have grown up with completely different lives, with different experiences. Probably so many of them have never even grown up with a computer in their household. And today most of our job is, you know, gets done on the iPad and on the go with phones, with so much of technology. So I guess somewhere we feel like they don't know as much as we do. So who are they to advise us on anything? My mother told me something yesterday. She said, tell today's children to listen to their parents, not because they know what is right, but because they have made so many more mistakes than you, that they know the mistakes you're going to make,
Absolutely
and they
right.
will help you do the right thing.
Yeah, so at least their experience can tell that no, this
Yes.
is not the right path.
Yes.
And probably with experience, yeah.
Absolutely. They may not be able to tell you which subjects you should opt for,
Correct.
because you know your strong points, you know your interests, and you know where you want to go. But at the same time, in your day-to-day life, I think you should listen to them. Yeah.
Correct. So related to, I think, rebellion in the youth, I will ask Dr. Mishra that what do you think today's youth is more disciplined or less disciplined? In a very straightforward sense I am talking.
I think we feel they are more indisciplined because we don't listen to them.
Okay. Great, I think.
I'm so sorry to interrupt. There's something very big I missed and which is coming right from here.
Correct.
Our problem is communication. Our problem
Yes.
is the communication gap. If we don't explain to them, how will they understand? And when they are trying to explain to us, we want to put on our headphones and we want to listen to music and go wah, wah, wah. Isn't it? That's the reaction that all these kids have. Listen, talk, and communicate.
I think we are not talking. That's
Yeah,
the
yeah.
biggest problem. Somehow we are not able to relate with the kids of this generation. I'll give you a very simple example. A parent one day called me and said that, my son wants a car. Should I give him? And I said, why are you asking me?
Yeah, correct.
Your son wants a car. You have the money. You want to give him or not? Who am I?
So I think parents are also confused.
Then said, no, actually, if you tell him, then he will not buy.
Yeah, because he doesn't have the power. Parent doesn't
That's
have
the problem,
Yeah.
right? The parent has to talk and say, listen, son, I'm not giving you the car. Listen, that's it, period. I don't have the money. And it'll be fine.
So I think the irony is that more the communication technology has improved in terms of the media and gadgets and everything, less the communication has actually, it has decreased the communication at home and amongst the people.
And I think all of us sitting here, our problem is that we think we are smarter than our parents.
Correct.
I think that's also one of the problems where this lies. So, yes, remember, communicate.
Yeah, so the experience of the parents is always helpful, and I think we shouldn't ignore that. Probably that may not be of our liking, but still that is very important, and uska fayda ho sakta hai aaj nahi mile. Probably in our life, sometime we will feel the benefit of that, I think. Rishi, I want to ask you, communication technology we were talking, and media has overpowered so many things. Okay, you have also been to CNBC, TV and all that, and TV and other things are a very powerful medium for good as well as for bad. So how do you think, and probably in your time it wasn't that much, and probably it is now almost ubiquitous everywhere. So what do you think, how it is affecting the thinking of youth or the direction of the youth? Mike.
So communication, yes, I mean, it affects you in both positive and negative ways, right? So I touched upon it a bit in my talk. Negatively, obviously, you're getting overexposed to a lot of things that we never got to. So there are obviously, chances of misdirection to the youth in some sense, and, like catching on to things which might not really add any value and help them to move in the right direction. But there are a lot of positives again. So, again, I would like to say that there will be negatives in everything. There is nothing which will be so easy, so clean and all. But look at the positive side of it. The positive side of it is obviously that you're more connected, you have more ideas. Like I was saying, that now because of the technology, there are many more new avenues of doing entrepreneurship. And I gave an example of Dheeraj Rajaram. So those kind of things can be done which were not even existent earlier. So there are a lot more avenues for the youth. The youth needs to use it proactively, use it positively, and move ahead successfully.
Correct. I think there is some shortage of time, so we'll fastly proceed and we'll try to conclude. One question for Prachi, reality TV. We have heard a lot about it, and you have been part of reality TV, and that also includes, probably I'll include for the sake of question, movies also. Lot of childhood and lot of youth are going towards reality TV, and they are finding that probably it's a small time fame. It may not be a long time fame. Do you agree with that?
Absolutely, yes. I've personally seen some really shocking shows, namely on music channels these days. Maximum of their viewership is the youth, is as people who are aspirational about probably entering the entertainment industry. And while, it's not so easy for them to get an opportunity, to get a chance, they try to do these other things which can get them closer to being on screen, to getting a chance, to getting noticed. There are some reality shows which are horrendous.
Correct.
I think people should just get up and say enough of this nonsense and stop it, absolutely. On the other hand, there are some shows that we really love and we enjoy. For example, there is DID and Dance India Dance for kids, or there is the talent show on Colors. These are fantastic shows, but people who are doing things out of desperate measures, I think that there needs to be a stop on that.
Regulated.
Absolutely, because there's no truth in that, there's no reality. It's all scripted, and it's something that just makes you cringe a little bit and feel like, I don't want to see this.
So I think this is a very important message for everybody, that whatever glitters is never gold. I think that stands true. There is a little shortage of time. We have so many questions, so many issues. You might be like having so many other questions, but we have to conclude here. Before conclude means the question answer session will be concluded. After that, we'll have a wind up from our chairperson of the session, Dr. Saab, and after that we'll have there is a lunch at the Bay Leaf restaurant basement for the delegates, and for others in the Bay Leaf restaurant. I'll request Dr. Kamlesh Mishra to please, there were many topics which we could not take systematically, but for the conclusion, Dr. Mishra is there. I'll request Dr. Mishra to conclude, and concluding remarks, please.
Well, now I'm the only person between you and the lunch. And it's always a bad idea to give the mic to a teacher. They don't stop talking. All right, we have had three wonderful speakers today who have given their thoughts on various aspects that affect the life of youth today. They've also tried to answer some of your questions and apprehensions that arise as you grow up in the pressure chamber of teenage years and youth. I will try, in bits and pieces to bring all those thoughts into the next few minutes, because I know Surtis enjoy food, and that is why we also sit on the streets on Sunday. One of the thoughts that kept on crossing was about youth and today's youth. I think the first important thing is to understand the psychology of the youth of today. Maybe a lot of problems arise because we are not understanding the youth of today. I think they are moving faster than time, and the previous generation is trying to catch up with them. And therefore, we always end up in that problem of, the cat and the mouse. I think the youth of today think differently. They behave differently because they think differently. And that's something that we need to keep in our mind. I'll give a very simple example. I was working at 1:30 in the night. Suddenly a window pops up, and a student of mine sends me a message, "How are you doing?" So that window popped up and he said, "How are you doing?" I said, "What are you doing?" He said, "Sir, what are you doing this late?" And I told him, "Son, I have a purpose and therefore I'm awake. You are probably awake because you are looking for a purpose." And his response was G8. I said, "Meri Angrezi to theek kar lo bhai." Then he sent another one which said LOL. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the new generation. So that's the generation. Today, even in the exam, they are writing in a language that we teachers have difficulty in reading it. I never knew that G8 was great. But they taught me, so I'm learning a lot from them. They are coming up with a new language form, which people like me and Dakshat Bhai have to now worry about. Because that will be a new language in the language department. We talked about, they have touched on the issues of success. You know, how to achieve success. And I really want to catch that thread that Prachi actually mentioned, was to get your education. Do whatever you want to do, but get your education. We have thousands of examples of people who have not had education, who have been successful, and there are a lot of them who may be sitting here also. Dhirubhai was a great businessman. He changed the face of Indian industry. He didn't have the education. Probably he didn't need it. Bill Gates did the same thing. He was a Harvard dropout. But my friends, the young guys, let me tell you, do not try this at home. All probability theory indicates that your chances of success are higher if you are educated than when you are not educated. Learn to salute those people who didn't have the education and they became successful. Learn from them. That's an additional benefit that you are going to derive from their company. But please don't ever think this. Education is not going to give you success only in terms of earning money. It is because you need to make this country a great country. That's where it is required. You have to do in 20 years what the last 5 generations did in 200 years. And that's not going to happen unless you have the education and understand what national pride is, what citizenship is, and what your contribution to society has to be. There was some girl who asked that question that, you know, women can't do anything, or they are not empowered, they are not given. Come out of it. You have a world of opportunity open for you. And please never underestimate that woman who sits in that home and raises that family. Her contribution is so important for this nation. And we have to believe in that. There was a discussion on investment. And Rishi gave very, very good ideas on investment. But I'll only tell you one thing. Warren Buffett has made a very, very clear statement, and this is very important for the young people. He said that people who create wealth do not spend money first and then save the rest. People who create wealth are those people who first save the money and then spend the rest. You have to develop that habit of saving and investing, and it is absolutely necessary for you to become successful at some point in time. But never define success in terms of the money that you are going to make. It is only an instrument. We live in a society where we believe, and for last 40, 50 years, we have believed that there must be an equal distribution of wealth. I want to tell you a secret. You don't have to believe me. You will be forced to believe sooner or later. And that secret is, God never created people equally. Man cannot make people equal. It is not possible. So we have to decide as a society to accept unequal distribution of wealth or an equal distribution of poverty. You choose it. Unless people create wealth, a lot of people in this country will be left behind. You need rich people to carry forward poor people. You can't do it without that. Want to take another point which Rashmi raised, which is on trying to do something that you love to do. And that's also related with the question that was asked in the beginning, that my parents don't want me to do this. I want to do this. Please open the channels of communication. Please do not talk G8 with your parents. Please sit with them. Make it a habit to spend or have at least dinner with them. And also to the parents, please have the time to have dinner with them. It's not that only they don't have. Many parents also do not have. Dinner is the time when you can actually communicate, because that's the time you talk less, you eat more. So nobody gets angry. So that's the best time to say anything. There was discussion about, should we have love marriages? Please go ahead and love and get married. It's fine. But have the courage to make your parents love your love. Why can't you do it? That's the new generation. You have to develop that courage. And please remember, there is nothing wrong in loving anybody. You need to understand the value of relationships. And that's important. A relationship of a son and a father, or a daughter and a father, a son and even a lover. Relationships needs to be sacred. They need to be defined by certain behavior patterns. As long as you act as responsible adults in a relationship, everything is fine. Don't go crazy about it, okay? If somebody doesn't want you, you may love somebody, some doesn't love you, it's okay, let them go. Don't jump from the bridge, it doesn't help. You'll create problem for the municipal corporation and the police. So my young friends, my message based on what has been discussed today, you got everything that you want. You just need to make the best out of it. You have more opportunities than we had. In our time, when we graduated from college, there were only 2-3 openings that we used to have. IAS exam ले लो भाई. अगर IAS नहीं बने तो PCS तो बन जाओगे. PCS नहीं बने तो कुछ नहीं, एंड में बैंक में क्लर्क तो बन जाओगे. उसमें भी बहुत मजा आता था. You have opportunities that our generation never saw. Don't look for jobs. Create the jobs that this country needs, and you are the one who can do it. Go ahead and become enterprising. Challenge everybody. Prove everyone to be wrong. And go ahead and do something in your life which everybody believes that you cannot do it. That's the challenge for you, for the youth. Thank you.
I think it was a wonderful, wonderful conclusion. Dr. Kamlesh Mishra needs a huge round of applause, please. Whatever we were discussing, all of us, I think very summarily, very crisply, he has brought together in a very 10-minute deliberation, and we are really thankful to you, sir. And as a token of our appreciation, I'll request another Vice Chancellor from Surat, Dakshesh Bhai from VNSGU, to please come and give a memento to our chairperson. My dear friends, we have come to the conclusion of the first session. I believe you all enjoyed. How many of you didn't enjoy? And how many of you enjoyed? Great. So I think that's our token of thankfulness to all of you, all our panel. We are really thankful for taking out time. All I think from Bombay. Yes, all are from Bombay. So taking out time, coming over to Surat, though we have our own Surti with amongst them, but we are really thankful. We are thankful to Dr. Kamlesh Mishra, and we are thankful to all of you. Before we start the lunch, a huge round of applause for all of us, all the youth, and we conclude this session. We'll start another session within 45 minutes. You all are requested to have the lunch in the Bay Leaf restaurant basement. All the delegates are requested, and rest of the people can have in the Bay Leaf restaurant itself. Thank you very much.